Hello, this is Gayuka Musa, also known as Coach G, and I'd like to welcome you to this episode of the Friday Fix. Now, this is the first episode of the Friday Fix, so let me tell you how things are going to go. Each week on Friday, we're going to discuss a relationship topic or question or issue and provide you with a solution that you can put in play in your relationship that very weekend. So come Saturday or Sunday, the things we discuss in this video blog, you'll be able to put them into practice and see how they work in your relationship. So today's episode of the Friday Fix is centered around the question, will they ever change? Now, oftentimes in my everyday life, whether I'm coaching clients or just having a conversation with friends or family, oftentimes some variety of that question comes my way, where people are really wondering if their partner will ever change. Maybe it's changing their habits or changing some behavior or accomplishing some new skill or new ability. They want to know if they'll ever change. And my answer to that question is the same every time. But there's a short version and there's a long version. The short version of that answer is yes, they will change. And this shouldn't be too surprising because change is really key to who we are as human beings. I mean, we come across new pieces of information, come across new experiences, new awarenesses, new people, and all of those things affect our lives and affect the way and rate at which we grow and evolve. But the long answer to that question is people are going to change when they're good and ready. And sometimes that change may not have anything to do with you wanting that change. When I think about change and I think about this topic, I'm often reminded of my great aunt Mert. And my great aunt Mert is 84 years old, and she'll be 85 this January, next month. And one of the stories that my great aunt Mert often tells is a story when I was about 2 or 3 years old, and I was in her kitchen. And I was sitting in a high chair in her kitchen, and someone was trying to desperately get me to eat a bowl of peas. And I was not interested in peas. I don't like peas. I mean, I still don't like peas. Peas, don't like them. And so the bowl of peas is sitting there right in front of me in the high chair. I pick the bowl up, I lift it up over my head, I turn it upside down, I place it right on top of my head as this ultimate act of protest. I mean, there's peas flying everywhere. I don't want the peas. I'm not having any peas. And I love that story because every time my Aunt Mert tells that story, she has this big old smile on her face because it's such a fond memory of hers. And the reason I share the story with you today is that in each of us, there's this defiant little 2-year-old that sometimes gets activated when we feel like someone's trying to change us or trying to make us different from how we are. So I would encourage you not to activate that 2-year-old in your partner, or you're going to have peas all over the place. So the question may be, will they ever change? But you might also be wondering to yourself, can I change them? And that's a different question altogether. My answer to that question is, not really. People are who they are, and when they become something different, it's because they want that. It doesn't matter how much we want it for them. They're only going to go on that journey when they're ready to go on that journey. Trying to change someone is really one of the hardest jobs there is. I mean, it doesn't pay well, it's not very sustainable, and there may be some side effects that you're just not necessarily aware of. One potential side effect is that the person that you're trying to change may grow to resent you for wanting to change them, even if you successfully get them to change. But they may grow to resent you for that. And sometimes it can be a little below the conscious level where they don't even realize that that's a feeling that's kind of brewing and growing inside of them. On the other hand, you may also potentially lose some respect for them for actually compromising who they are to acquiesce to the thing that you want. So even though you're getting what you want, you may feel a little differently about them for going along with what you were kind of directing their way. So again, a person's lasting change is their journey, and it's not a journey that we can send them on. So that takes us to this week's fix. This week's fix has 2 parts. In the first part, we're going to talk briefly about hidden desire to want to change someone. Because I know what you're thinking. You're saying, okay, Coach G, check it out. I'm not interested in changing my partner. So this is all great, but this doesn't apply to me. And you may be right. You may not be interested in changing your partner, but what I'd like you to do is to check some of the language that you use to communicate to your partner to see if any of that language communicates that you want to change them, even though you don't have that intent within you. So imagine if, check to see if you use any of these kinds of statements. So let's say you might say something like this. Man, if only she'd fill in the blank. Or I really love him, but fill in the blank. Statements like that, where there's that if only or that but that kind of negates what came before it, communicate to your partner that you want them to somehow be different than they are, even if that's not really what you're wanting. Another one is the word should. When you're using that word like someone should be doing this, or they should be doing that, or they shouldn't be doing this, again, that's communicating to them that you want them to be different than they are. Now, the second part of today's fix is what I call show and not tell. So we all have fond memories of grade school when we went through show and tell. This time we're going to focus on the show. It's fine and great to tell people how you feel, to tell people how much you appreciate them. But this weekend, I want you to really focus on showing people how much you appreciate them. You know, there's this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson that goes like this: "Who you are speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say." And it basically means that, you know, the way that you are, the way that you operate, your actions, your behaviors, your very being, those things have so much more of a profound impact on me than the words that you say. And it's not that your partner won't believe the words that you say, but your actions have so much more power. So the reason I want you to show and not specifically to tell is because when a person feels like you want to change them, they feel kind of unaccepted. They feel unacceptable, or they feel like they could be loved more if they just became different, somehow different than who they are. And by showing them how much you appreciate them, you start to counter that. And the way that I want you to show them how you appreciate them this weekend is to notice them doing something, just being themselves, and communicate how much you appreciate and find a way to show them that you appreciate that. So don't necessarily think of something you appreciate about them right now. Kind of catch them in the moment of being themselves and just express and communicate and show a genuine appreciation for who they are in that very moment. So that's this week's Friday Fix. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love if you would leave your comments and let me know what you think about this week's episode, as well as what types of topics or questions you'd like to see discussed in future episodes. Until next time, this is Coach G reminding you to free your mind so your life will follow. Take care of each other, all right?